Hello, Bobby Torres of Frightbox Recording here. So here's the question. Are real amps overrated when it comes to recording your metal guitar tracks within your studio? Now, we've been hearing this debate for the last 20 years. Real amps versus amp sims, which are better? Some will swear that nothing will beat a tube amp mic'd up with a nice microphone and a nice preamp, and that amp sims are complete crap. And others will argue that not only are amp sims super convenient as far as the effects that they come bundled with and all of the different amp models that you have to choose from, but they even sound exactly like real amps. Now, regardless of whether we think one is better than the other, the question is this. Can we actually tell the difference between an amp sim and a real amp within our productions? Because at the end of the day, that's all that matters. In my opinion, there's no point in spending a boatload of money on expensive amps if we can get the exact same tones within our software. Now, if you've ever followed me, I'm sure you know by now that I'm a huge fan of reamping. Now, if you're not familiar with what reamping is, it's when you record DI tracks, just a clean guitar signal, often being monitored through a plugin while you're tracking, and then taking those clean DIs, sending them through live tube amps, miking up the tube amps, and re-recording them back into your software. That's what reamping is. So when you reamp through live amps, you are recording real amplifiers, and I do that all of the time. So now you might be wondering, well, okay, if you do that all the time, you must think that live amps are better than amp sims. And to be honest with you, it's not really the case for me. I use tube amps and I use amp sims. The truth is that amp sims, as long as you're pairing it with a solid impulse response, are just as good as real amps. The reason why I prefer to reamp is because it's fun. That's the only reason. I just love the process of dialing in a guitar tone on a real tube amp, miking up the speaker, but to be honest with you, it is time consuming, and you really can get the same results with an amp sim and a solid impulse response. I just love the process of recording real amps, but I also use amp sims half the time as well. Because like I said, I can get amp sims to sound exactly like real amps, and we're gonna dive deep into some of my mixes so I can showcase some real world examples. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play for you 5 different mixes that span over the last 10 years of my audio production career, and I want you in the comment section below to tell me which mix is utilizing a real tube amp and which mix is using an amp sim. I'm dying to hear if anyone can tell just by listening to the final mix. So without any further ado, here is mix number 1. Okay, that's a hard rock production that I recorded 10 years ago. And I'm not gonna tell you if it's an amp sim or tube amp just yet. You're gonna have to wait till next week to find out. So with that being said, let's listen to sample number 2. Okay, that's a metal production that I recorded about 3 years ago. Let's listen to sample number 3.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like you don't hate me. Sometimes I feel I'm not alone. I wake up nightmares driving me crazy. I fear your voice still on the phone. Sometimes I think that you don't hate me. Sometimes I feel I'm not alone. I wake up.
That was a mix that I mixed just last year. Let's listen to sample number 4. Okay, that's of a simple rock production I recorded 7 years ago. And finally, sample number 5. And that was a sample that I just mixed only a few months ago. So those 5 samples were taken from productions that I've done over the course of the last 10 years. And again, some of them exclusively feature only amp sims, and others featured live real amps, mic'd with microphones. Now, I'm willing to bet that it's kind of tricky to tell the difference, but I know there are some people out there that swear that they can hear a difference, and if you're one of them, please let me know. I'm dying to hear your opinion. Now, I'm gonna upload the second part to this video next Monday, where I'm going to reveal to you which amps were amp sims and which amps were live amps, and we're gonna dive deep into the mix to show you if I did anything special to the amp sims to make them sound like real amps. So remember, next Monday, same bat time, same bat station. Let's see which of these mixes is a real amp or a fake amp. If you found this video helpful, like, comment, subscribe, and share. And do not forget to click the little bell icon so you can be notified every time I upload one of my weekly videos on all things metal and rock production. You can both like and follow me on Facebook and Instagram. Links are in the description below. And be sure to download my free impulse response. There's a link below right within the video's description. Load it into your amp sim plugins to dial in some killer metal guitar tone without any fuss. And remember, join me next week to dive into each of these individual mixes to see what's really happening and which ones are real amps and which ones are fake amps. Till next time, happy recording.